Hi, thank you for joining us today. How are you all?
Good, thank you.
Good, thank you.
So, today we're going to be discussing all things compressed natural gas, and I can't wait, so let's get started. For those that don't know, what is CNG and why is it an important part of the decarbonized energy mix?
CNG, which means compressed natural gas, is a fuel for vehicles or other commercial application made by compressing natural gas or biogas to less than 1% of its uncompressed volumes. The combustion of a CNG produced fewer undesirable gases than many other fuels, and CNG can be used in place of gasoline, diesel fuel, or LPG. Finally, I would say that CNG is an important and feasible gaseous fuel that is relatively very cheap, environmentally friendly, safe to handle, and has abundant available energy resources.
So, Cedric, how long has CNG been available for?
So first applications are coming from almost First World War, where it was used as a transport fuel during that period. And then during the 90s, many countries began to adopt CNG fuel for vehicles. But also, beginning of the 2000s, the market of CNG has grown significantly due to increase of gasoline price and also a desire to reduce air pollution.
Interesting.
And Ping, can you tell us a little bit more about how CNG works?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with the CNG vehicles. CNG vehicles operate much like gasoline-powered vehicles with spark-ignited internal combustion engines. The engine functions the same way as a gasoline engine. However, to provide adequate driving range, CNG is stored on board the vehicle in a compressed gaseous state at a pressure of up to 250 bar. To get CNG vehicle refilled, generally CNG station receive fuels from a local utility line or from a delivery trailer at a low pressure, and then use a compressor on site to compress the gas to a high pressure. Once compressed, the CNG moves to a series of storage vessels. So finally, the fuel can be delivered to the vehicle tanks through CNG dispensers.
Cool. And when we talk about CNG being on a station, are there dedicated CNG stations, or is it common for CNG to be included on standard fuel stations in conjunction with other fuels and energies? Cedric, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, good question. So it's both dedicated, both dedicated CNG and multi-fuel stations are common nowadays. So multi-fuel station with CNG or other fuel combined in multi-fuel dispenser seem more popular in Europe. And also number of L/CNG stations, so liquid and compressed natural gas stations are increasing in the market. Especially into Europe. And this station include additional CNG equipment to take LNG as a source for CNG dispensing.
And Ping, anything else to add?
No, I think that covers pretty much everything.
Perfect, thank you.
Ping, is there a market out there for CNG, and which countries are already using this energy?
Right. Globally speaking, there is a considerable CNG market out there in many countries. For example, in Europe, Italy was one of the first countries adopting CNG fuel in vehicles, followed by Germany and France. In Asia, China has been the biggest CNG market for decades, while India sees significant growth of CNG vehicles and stations over the last 3 to 5 years. In Latin America, Argentina has the biggest number of CNG stations, which is just over 2,000 sites. Yeah.
And what type of vehicle is CNG best suited?
Well, that's a really good question. By considering the availability, infrastructure facility, and fuel economy, CNG seems to be a prominent alternative fuel for high mileage, centrally fueled fleets. And this include public buses, taxis, and distribution trucks within any region.
Cool.
If we were to look at CNG, where does it fit when you compare it with other energies such as electricity, hydrogen, liquefied petroleum gas, and liquefied natural gas? Cedric, I'll come to you on this one first.
Yeah, this is a good question. So CNG, along with LNG, because both are the same source, continues to provide their ability to meet the increasingly stringent near zero greenhouse gas emissions standards around the world. And however, we must recognize that after all, CNG is a fossil based fuel, which is largely not renewable. And for some world regions, CNG is used as transitional alternative fuels in their roadmap for decarbonization. And in these regions, we may see limited growth in CNG market.
Okay. And Ping, anything to add to that?
Well, having said that, in other regions like India, the government has been heavily subsidizing CNG price and put up an ambitious plan to increase CNG stations substantially. Lastly, what I want to add would be the renewable natural gas, RNG or biogas, provides an alternative source for CNG, producing significant life cycle greenhouse gas emission benefits. So RNG is recognized as a zero emission fuel, which could sustain CNG market growth for many years to come.
It's interesting to see how it's developing in different regions across the world. And then Cedric, is CNG considered a safe fuel to use, and how does the refueling process work?
So in general, CNG has been safely used as a fuel for many decades, as I was mentioning earlier, around the world, with a lot of mature technology available for production, storage, transportations, and distribution, including the refueling. Now, from a user standpoint, the refueling process is considered safe, simple, and intuitive. And a fast filling station typically fills vehicles within a couple of minutes. I would say between 3 to 5 minutes, and which is about more or less the same as conventional fuels solutions today. And the key, sorry to continue on this, but the key working principle of CNG refueling is to fill the vehicle tank by increasing its internal pressure to similar level as from the size storage banks. And this is done through a secure CNG passage between them. And the CNG dispenser normally handles the process by connecting the vehicle's tank to the different banks from low, medium, and high pressure bank sequentially. So this is basically the principle for CNG on the station.
Perfect, thank you.
What is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to CNG refueling?
Well, as we mentioned in the beginning, CNG is produced and handled in very high pressure. So safety is always the biggest challenge during all stages of refueling. DFS has a track record of maintaining the highest safety standard in the industry. This is supported by strictly following the Pressure Equipment Directive, PED, throughout the entire product life cycle of our CNG dispensers, including design, manufacturing, and vendor qualification.
That's really good to know. And what are some of the key things to consider before investing in CNG?
So I would say for that, apart from the regular cost and return on investment investigations, one of the key concerns has always been what would happen with CNG in future, since it is considered as a transitional energy. So we at DFS believe that the CNG still offers a great value during the transitional period, not only for its vast availability and infrastructure, but also for its affordability and near zero emission characteristic. Moreover, the increased use of renewable natural gas / biogas would definitively create more growth potential for the CNG and for that business.
Ping, how do you see the demand for CNG changing over the next 5 years? As both you and Cedric have mentioned, it is being seen as a transitional fuel in many regions, but also one that is growing in others.
Well, overall, I have confidence in seeing CNG market keep growing in the next 5 years at the global level. India, as I said before, will be the key engine driving this growth. Demand in any specific market would be very much depend on its own policy and vision or the roadmap to achieve net zero target. Also, once again, RNG and biogas will help put more weight for keeping CNG in the race to be a practical and a zero emission fuel. This could drive future demands as well.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, can you explain what CNG offerings DFS have and how it can help stations across Europe, India, and the rest of the world? Ping, I'll come back to you.
Right. DFS, we offer a full range of CNG dispensers product across the globe. In Europe, we have the Helix 6000 CNG series, which is L-shaped dispenser that offers both standalone and multi-fill models. This includes a 4-hose model that is equipped with both NGV1 nozzle for cars and NGV2 nozzles for trucks. This model allows flexible selection of nozzles in either side of the CNG dispenser. And in Germany, DFS offers a special Erdgas version that can handle higher pressure, meeting German standards.
Great. And then Cedric, coming to you.
Yeah, I would say in addition to Europe, we have also for North America an offer. So we are proposing a CNG dispenser with an integrated payment terminal, which is enabling the customer to use the same user interface as in conventional fuel pumps and enjoying the same fueling experience. And I would finish as well with India, where the market we mentioned earlier is also seriously growing, and we are considering assessing actively more of the market and considering launching a dedicated CNG model to meet the specific requirement for this Indian domestic market.
That's great. Thank you both for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you to you.